Okay, so today we'll discuss about as we have the EC2 is meaning of elastic like compute cloud. So we are going to discuss regarding what is that meaning of elastic. So what is the concept of elastic is we can scale up or scale down depends upon the load what we are going to get it. So it depends upon the load what we are getting. We can scale up or scale down our resources. Okay. So then here we have scaling wise. We have two types of scaling in normal scaling wise. Vertical scaling, and we are going to use horizontal scaling. Okay, so what is the difference between vertical scaling is? In the vertical scaling, we are increasing number of, say, we are going to increase the number of,
instances.
yeah, the number of resources. Okay, or maybe instead of number, I can call as size of resources I'm going to increase. So I'm going to increase the size of resources we are going to increase. Okay, size of resources we are increasing by choosing the vertical scaling. Okay, so then how we can do the vertical scaling we'll discuss. And in the horizontal scaling, we are going to increase okay, so we are going to increase more number of instances. So we are going to increase the more number of instances. Okay, so for that purpose, we are going to use, so for that purpose, we are going to use the horizontal scaling. So vertical scaling is, we are going to increase this, the say here, instance count is not increasing. Okay, so instance count is not increasing. Only the size of the instance is increasing. Okay, so when we'll go for this kind of vertical scaling is we don't have uh, enough resources to run the application. Okay, so that means we're automatically getting application is hanging, crashing, the server is hanging, server is crashing. If you are getting these kind of things, we need to go for the vertical scaling. As of now, with the current resources, we can't run. Okay, say uh, like uh, uh, automatically we are going to increase because otherwise we can't run the application. Okay, so but so what is the meaning of vertical scaling is we are increasing the size of resources. Okay, so in what scenarios will go for that is we have an application. In order to run that application, the existing resources are not good enough. Okay, so then we have decided to scale up the resources. At what level we are going to scale up is, we are going to scale up the CPU and we are going to scale up the memory, and even we are going to scale up even at the storage level. Mostly the storage wise will have the size, then IOPS, then finally throughput. So these are the three things we need to consider for the storage. CPU also, we are going to increase the more number of virtual CPUs, and the instances like hardware type also we are going to increase. And memory wise also we are going to increase more RAM resources also. So in what scenario we'll go for vertical scaling? Okay,
to increase the resources.
we don't have the right resources or to run that application. Okay, so then like what how we can increase is so now we need to identify the right sizing of, okay, always what we need to suggest to the customer is, we need to right sizing of image type we need to suggest. By default, we are going to use T2.micro. But with the T2.micro, what is the challenge is, okay, so we are getting only one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM itself. Most of the enterprise applications may not enough to run those resources. Okay, but why we have chosen here T2.micro is, why we have taken to T2.micro?
because it is free.
Yeah, it is free, but in the real applications, it's maybe not scalable. One way of scaling is, okay, so in some types of images, we have burstable images. Okay, so that means burstable type of hardware we have. T2 is one type of burstable. What is the meaning is, if the T2.micro, if I'm using one CPU and 1 GB RAM, okay, so what is going to happen is, we can scale up the resources. Okay, automatically we can scale up that resources. Okay, so for this, what we need to do is, in the advanced options of the instance, we need to specify, okay, so we need to specify credit unlimited option. So what is the meaning of credit unlimited option is, if it is a bustable hardware we are using, and if you specify the credit unlimited, and if more usage comes, automatically the instance will scale up. So then AWS is going to provide more CPU and more like RAM. What is the advantage?
The work will be smoother.
Yeah, say automatically we can increase that. Automatically depends upon the load. It can be burstable. Okay, but what is the disadvantage?
Definitely, performance also will increase, sir.
Yeah, but what is the disadvantage? Okay,
Disadvantage.
billing is the issue.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so suppose assume I have a like a normal general class and business class. So if they promote to business class, I need to pay more money, means I need to consider whether I have money or not. Okay, if that is the expected, okay, even so what is the advantage is, in 24 hours, I no need to pay for the 24 hours. If my server has used only for 1 hour, only for that 1 hour, I need to pay the money. Do you understand what is the advantage of credit unlimited? What is the advantage of credit unlimited? What is the advantage?
Yeah, understood.
Okay.
Yep.
Say, but for that 1 hour, we need to pay the money. Even sometimes that also I don't want. Then you shouldn't go for, okay, unlimited credit. In the instance, automatically we can choose unlimited credit. If I choose unlimited credit, can you tell me whether this comes under vertical scaling or horizontal scaling? Whether this will comes under vertical scaling or horizontal scaling?
Horizontal scale.
Okay, said no. That same instance itself, but only that resources are increasing.
Vertical,
It's a vertical itself. Okay, it is going to be vertical scaling. Another way of we can do the vertical scaling is, okay, so another way we can do the vertical scaling, okay, so how we can perform the vertical scaling is, we need to change the instance type. What is the difference between changing the instance type and changing the unlimited credit? What is the difference between them? If I change the instance type, whether my resources have been used or not, I need to pay the money. Vertical scaling even can be done by changing the instance type also. Okay, that means if I don't use more resources also, for 24 hours, I need to pay money for the increased resources itself. If I use credit unlimited, out of 24 hours, if I use only for 2 hours, I need to pay only for the 2 hours itself. But one challenge here with the unlimited credit is all hardware in the AWS EC2 instance types are not bustable kind of things. All are not a bustable kind of things. Okay, so then we need to change the instance types also. We need to change the instance types also we need to change. Okay, so we need to perform accordingly. We need to perform both comes under vertical scaling or horizontal.
Yeah.
Unlimited credit or changing the instance type. Both comes under
Vertical scaling.
both comes under vertical kind of scaling itself. Then on top of that, we need to go for horizontal scaling. Say we have one instance, okay, so or maybe we have two instances. All of sudden, the demand has been increased. Okay, automatically the demand has been increased. Then we need to go for horizontal scaling. Okay, in AWS we have AWS EC2 auto scaling groups. Okay, so using the AWS auto scaling groups, what we can do is automatically we are going to scale up the resources. Okay, so it depends upon the metrics we have configured. Our scaling policies will call. Okay, we can scale the number of instances. So we can scale the number of instances by choosing auto scaling group. Okay, by choosing the auto scaling groups. Okay, I think you understand, right? What is the meaning of horizontal scaling? So I'll tell one use case. If there is a more load is there, say suppose assume we have a book my show kind of application, a new movie is releasing, or we have an OTT, a new content is releasing, or new movie is releasing in the OTT. Otherwise, we have maybe festivals are there or offers are going on. They will have sudden spike of users may be coming. In order to handle that kind of spike, only increasing server resources maybe not enough. Okay, so definitely we need to go for increasing. We need to go for increasing more number of instances that's possible through AWS EC2 auto scaling groups. So now, if you perform auto scaling through AWS EC2 auto scaling, that is going to increase more number of instances. Depends upon the metrics, or we need to specify the scaling policy, and using that automatically it's going to scale up. Okay, so guess whether this comes under vertical scaling or horizontal scaling. Okay, the vertical or horizontal scaling we need to perform. Any doubts on this?
No, sir.
Okay.
We are good.
Then in this we need to specify, try to understand everyone are using very high scalable applications, right? In the normal days, we don't have much load, but since we never see downtime of Facebook, Twitter, or maybe Book My Show, or maybe Flipkart. Why we are not getting the downtime is they have the capability of auto scaling the resources. Okay, automatically they're going to scale up the resources. What is the advantage with this? What is the advantage with that? We don't have that downtime. Okay. So what is the problem if I maintain 1,000 servers at any point of time? If I maintain, what is the problem to me? If I maintain always 24/7, 365 days, if I maintain 1,000 servers also or 2,000 servers, what is the problem to me?
Billing.
The billing is more. What is the advantage of auto scaling is depends upon the conditions or right sizing of the
Servers or instance.
right sizing of the server. Say suppose I don't have much load, I may maintain only 10 servers. Then as AWS EC2 is billing is depends upon that usage itself. I have medium load, I may maintain 100 servers. I got a peak load, I may extend to 1,000 servers. For that only I need to pay. Anyhow, even if I use 1,000 servers, I'm getting more revenue or not? Okay, I'm getting a good revenue, right? That is the purpose. I don't have any issue, even if I use the 1,000 type of servers also. So for this purpose also, we are going to use auto scaling. Say billing is also is going to reduce. Okay, the cost is also is going to reduce, means billing itself is the right. Okay, and we are going to keep always the right number of instances. Depends upon the load. Okay, depends upon the load. We are going to keep the right number of instances. With this, always the application also is highly available. And even if you got any sudden spike of users also, automatically it can be increased. Yeah. Any doubts? Any doubts on this? I hope you understand, right? Always we are going to maintain the right size. But with the vertical scaling, if the resources are not enough, we need to identify the right sizing of the instance. Otherwise, we can't install the application itself on that. We would be getting, always we would be getting out of memory exceptions. Application is hanging, server is hanging. So with that, we can't run the business. Okay. But even if you enable vertical scaling also, millions of users can't be handled by single server itself. That is the reason we are going for horizontal scaling. Horizontal scaling we are going to perform. And by using AWS auto scaling groups, we are going to perform the automatically we can perform the auto scaling we can perform. Yeah, any doubts? So then we'll do these use cases. First, I'll perform the vertical scaling those. I'll go to AWS. So here we'll have the instance. So we need to go for advanced options. Okay. So then launch the instances. Then while launching the instance, I'll show you how to enable unlimited creditor. Unlimited creditor. Okay. So now here my web server, any instance you can take. Okay. So then we have Amazon Linux instance type. Okay. Remaining all these options are very same. You can choose even the the key pair also. I'll create a new key pair. Then I'm going to create a new key pair and directly I'm downloading the PPK. Okay, say 8 GB, 10 GB, all these are the settings are very common. If you go to the advanced details, then in this, say here we have an option. Okay, say what is that is? Previously it's called as credit unlimited, but here credit specification, we need to choose either standard options or unlimited option. Okay, what is the concept of additional, like unlimited option is? They're telling additional charges. When they will charge the money? When they'll charge the money?
when we are utilizing.
Yeah. Okay, so when they want like a usage, here we need to specify. But say what type of instance we have, we'll discuss. Okay, AWS, we need to understand instance types. We have the different type of instance types. We have all these days we have chosen T2.micro. That T2 is one of the hardware family that comes under general purpose. So what are those all the like different types of instances? We'll discuss. So in this, if you go for unlimited credit, what is going to happen? If you use unlimited credit, what is going to happen? Automatically, it can increase. But what is the maximum limit? That depends upon the instance of hardware. What is that? We'll discuss. So for that, I need to come to this instance type. So what are the different types of all instance types also maybe not supporting. They should have burstable kind of instance types only supports. They will document whether those are burstable type or not. Yeah, here I got we go to AWS EC2 instance. Say here we have the EC2 instance types. But we are using free tier is it's available at free of cost for 750 hours. Yeah. So now here we can categorize based on that general purpose. So we have used T2, right? T2 comes under general purpose. Normal for our normal applications, we'll use the general purpose. But we have compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerated computer. This called as accelerated computing. Even HPC is more powerful than accelerated computing. High performance computing, storage optimized. That means depends upon the client requirement. We need to tell. In the T2, like in the general purpose, we have the T2 is the family. So here they're showing as burstable performance, right? What is the meaning of burstable? Even if you choose one type, if you want on demand, we can increase that size. We can increase that size. That kind of hardware is called as burstable. Okay, so there is no use for that. Okay, so whenever we are going to use the T2 instances or like a burstable kind of resources, I'll go for T3.A. So those also burstable or not. Okay, that means for this we can use a credit unlimited. Some hardware may be not burstable. Okay, so computer optimizer. So by default, it may be fixed kind of things. But if you have more workload, then recommended to go for HPC also. Okay, so then can you tell me some classes in general purpose? Can you tell me some classes? T2, T3, T3A, T4G, M4. Say they will ask you this one type and what like category it belongs. You need to tell. Okay, in the compute optimize, we are going to get most of the C class. Okay, you tell C class related. Okay, so in the C7, assume in the C7, what is this type? What is the type of this? C7G.4x large. How many CPUs we are getting? 16 CPUs. And how much RAM? 32 GB RAM we are getting. Okay, so we are getting 16 virtual CPUs and 32 GB RAM. So like this, we should able to tell 5 to 10 different types. In your job also, if someone asks, don't tell we use T2.micro. Okay, so don't tell T2.micro because so what is that is that is only for the pre-tier for practice purpose we need to use. Okay, so for that purpose only we need to use those resources. That try to identify some five. Even in memory also keep maybe we have any database these kind of things. We are going to use in a memory optimized. We have R class. Mostly we want more memory kind of inbuilt caches. For this kind of applications, we are going to use memory optimized. Okay, so memory optimized, maybe for the video encoding, gaming, they want to cache a lot of data. Okay, so in this, can you tell some classes? So in this, we have the, one second. Hello, I'm audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, you had power loss. Okay, so now here we need to choose some memory optimized also. Mostly you tell we have compute optimized instances and R class, all these also comes under like memory optimized and tell one maybe accelerated computing also maybe G class, all these and storage optimized mostly will get the D3 kind of series or these comes under storage optimized also. So but don't tell T2.micro. But even if you want to tell general purpose T3 or T2 also, so then here we need to tell the high-end kind of thing, T3.2x large. So with this, we are going to get 8 CPUs. Okay, so we are going to get here 8 CPUs and how much RAM we are getting? 32 RAM we are getting. And what is this meaning of EBS only is instant storage not available. Okay, and networking, these all the constraints we need to consider before designing our instance types. Our instance types, we need to consider based on that. Okay, so it depends upon all these things, we need to consider whether to go for vertical scaling or horizontal scaling. But if I use T3 as my hardware, what is the maximum it can go? Okay, 8 virtual CPUs and 32 GB RAM. That instance can scale up till that itself. That means it's burstable till that is the maximum limit it can limit. More than that, it can't increase. Because that hardware may contains only this, this is the maximum resources. Okay, so when I specify unlimited credit, so this is the maximum it can scale up. More than that, it's not possible. So more than that, it's not possible to scale up. Okay, I hope you understand, right? What we done now, one type of vertical scaling itself. Okay, but we have used credit specification, and in the credit specification, I need to use here unlimited. But what is the risk is, even if any of the instance consumes more like resources, then for that additional hours, if it is used 8 hours, 4 CPUs and 16 GB RAM, or 8 CPUs and 32 GB RAM, for that I need to pay the additional money. For that I need to pay the additional money I need to pay. I hope you understand, right? The second method, what we can do is, I'll create this instance. I'm not going to specify. Okay, credit specification. I went with the default. That means now the maximum cap is here. I use T2.micro. Then one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM itself. I'm going to get. Even if my resources not enough, my application may crashes itself. But we can't get more number of CPU and memory. So more number of CPU and memory we are not going to get with that use case. Okay, if I use unlimited credit specification, then I can increase my resources, and for that I need to pay the additional usage. If the client doesn't have budget that also, then we shouldn't use unlimited credit. Then we shouldn't use the unlimited credit. Okay,
Take it.
then we need to use one more method. What is that? Is I'm going to change the instance type. Okay, that means all these days, assume we are going to use a T3 dot extra large. T3 dot extra large I'm going to use. With that I'm getting four virtual CPUs, and I'm getting RAM is 16. But my application is not enough to this. It's keep on crashing. That is the purpose people are telling, increase the instance size. Okay, so increase the instance size. Then what we need to do is, so we need to increase that instance type from we have decided from T3 dot extra large to some other hardware or something we want to change. That means the client is fed up with the T3 hardware. Even sometimes you will throw your laptop or mobile and will purchase a new mobile, right? Because that's not enough to run our applications, or our computing is like that, resource computing is very poor. In that scenario, we finally decided to change the instance type itself. Okay, but one of the problem to change the instance type is we required a shutdown. We required a shutdown. So what is the meaning of we required a shutdown is we need to stop that instance. Definitely will have some business impact would be there. Will have some business impact. Okay, say if you perform any operations, then definitely will have a shutdown. Okay, so now assume I'll show how to perform that kind of we have an instance here. I'm going to create an instance. Once I create the instance, what I'll do is I'll scale up that resource using changing the instance type. Changing the instance type, can you tell me whether it comes under vertical scaling or horizontal scaling? Changing the instance type comes under vertical scaling or horizontal scaling? So that comes under vertical scaling itself, because that same resource itself, by creating the new CPU and memory, we are increasing the resources. We are increasing the resources. So now assume this instance type is T2.micro as of now we have, right? I'll go to this instance and I'll go to actions, instance settings. Here we have an option, right? What is this option? Change instance type. This option is as of now gray out. What they show that? What they have shown there? say now that instance change we can't perform when the instance is running. Okay, so then definitely I'll go to instance state. I'm going to stop the state. I'm going to stop the instance. Have stopped that instance. After you stop that instance, go to actions, instance settings. Then here we need to go for change the instance type. Still that instance not came to stopwood state. It should come to stopwood state, not stopping state. So we need to wait for that. These all in the stopwood state. Yeah, now it's came to stopwood state, right? Okay, so now go to actions, instance settings. Then here we have changed the instance type. Okay, so here we have one constraint is there. What is the base hardware as of now is T2.micro, right? Whenever you want to perform this kind of upgradation of hardware, definitely there should be some compatibility. Even if you go for your hardware upgrade, if you go, they may tell RAM is not possible to integrate with motherboard, or maybe CPU is not possible to upgrade. Some constraints would be there hardware wise. So here also, definitely, if you want to migrate your instance from T2 or whatever the what is the instance type to next instance type, there should be a compatibility check should be done. All instance types, we can't upgrade to all instance sizes. Okay, so definitely we need to check the compatibility check. So now here we are going to change the instance type. As of now, we have T2.micro. Okay, so then we want to upgrade this to what is the new instance type we want. Okay, so now here we are going to get all this, but before choosing a right identification, compare more kind of things, whether it's possible or compatibility check also we need to perform. Okay, I'll choose T2 itself instead of T2 dot, I'm going to increase T2 dot extra large. So with the T2 family, mostly we don't get any hardware conflict. Okay, but definitely all hardwares may be not supported. Okay, so then once we change this, what is the problem is whether I use it or I can't claim again I didn't use like here the T2 dot extra large resources give me at free of cost means they don't consider whether we use it or not for this instance type we need to pay the money. For this instance type we need to pay the like money for that usage. So now here we are going to get previously one CPU core, but here we are getting 4 virtual cores of CPU, and previously we have 1 GB RAM. Now almost we are getting around 16 GB RAM, and billing wise also it's for the Linux it's increasing, and almost for the Windows also it is increasing more. Almost 10 to 20 times the billing also is going to increase. But these all the things we need to consider. Then if I change, automatically it's going to change, but I'm not changing. Okay, so this type also comes under, but definitely we required, what we required? A shutdown is mandatory. Okay, so when we want to perform this kind of sizing, we require a shutdown. Okay, so then I'll terminate. I hope you understand, right? What is the vertical scaling, how we can do. We done through two methods. One is unlimited credit specification is there. Second one is by changing the higher version of instance type, we can do. But in order to perform that, unlimited credit, no need of any shutdown kind of operation. Automatically, it can scale up the resources. But in order to perform this instance type, definitely in the shutdown state only we can perform. But if you change the instance type, whether we use it or we didn't use it, we need to pay more money. So whether we use it or we didn't use it, we need to pay more money, need to be paid. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? Okay, so then here we have one more very important feature. That means to the client, always suggesting the right sizing of the image, right sizing of the instance type, right sizing of instance count is very, very important for the billing wise and even for the business continuity. And always the application should be highly available to the users. All these are very, very important to the customers. All these are very important to the customers what we have. Okay, so in this use case, what is going to happen is we need to identify some suggestions also from the AWS. For that, we have one service called as a Trusted Advisor. What is the service name? Trusted Advisor. So now here if you go for the trusted advisor, what is the advantage is here who is giving the advices for us? Who is giving the advices for us? Who is giving the advices? Okay, AWS is giving the advices for us. AWS is giving the advices for us. For what purpose is like my client is telling like billing is more. Okay, or performance is very poor. So is telling either billing is very high, try to reduce the billing, or performance of my applications are very poor, budget is not a constraint, try to increase the performance kind of thing, or security wise also some advices we want. So these all who to whom we can trust is AWS will give those advices for us. So now here we have cost optimization, performance, security, fault tolerance, service limits, operation excellence. So these all the recommended ways how we can improve to our AWS infrastructure depends upon the different requirements. AWS is going to provide these kind of advices for us. But if the customer want cost optimization, then we need to choose what are the optimization related advices AWS has given. Here we'll get the right size of instance also. So we have not consumed 5% of the resources also. Okay, then they will tell why to use this much bigger infrastructure or bigger instance type. You are not consuming 5% also. Okay, so then like here we need to, but we required a better support plan, not with the free tier kind of thing. Okay, so definitely they will be giving the right. And why it's called as trusted advisor is that advisors what we have given from AWS, 90% we can trust. But again, 10% we also need to take the decision and the client also need to accept. Accordingly, we are going to perform the decisions. But if we don't have the right sizing, we don't get cost like optimization, then we don't get the performance also. And security wise also, if any vulnerabilities are there or any threats are there, it shows for us. And service limit quotas. Say if any of the quota is exceeding, even we'll send a notification. This quota is exceeding for you. Then we can contact the support center. So now here, if you go for this, here we have the support center. Even for free tier account guys also can raise a support center ticket and AWS is going to provide the solution for that. But those related should be AWS related itself. If you tell regarding your application having the issues, AWS can't do anything. AWS can't do anything. Those should be related to our AWS related. Or if you have any doubts regarding the billing or any technical issues, okay, say your support cases, these all just explore once. Okay, compute optimizer, okay, so these all try to verify. And there are a lot of knowledge-based sessions, resources also, knowledge center videos, documentation. Okay, all these also we need to use. Say in the lot of interviews today, people are asking how we are enhancing the skills because we can't join everywhere training centers to get the trainings. At the end of the course, we should able to learn self-learning kind of capabilities also. So in order to learn that kind of self-learning kind of capabilities, okay, so definitely we need to go through this kind of documentation, knowledge center videos, internal trainings, Udemy kind of trainings. Like this, we should able to tell. Okay, so even self-exploring the videos, all these also. Okay, so then we have one more type of auto scaling. So we use AWS auto scaling. AWS auto scaling, we have a normal AWS auto scaling is different. Okay, say EC2 auto scaling is different. Okay, in the AWS auto scaling, it's not only related to EC2. Okay, you can do the auto scaling even at the Lambda we can do, or Kubernetes level we can do. For the multiple resources, we can do the auto scaling. Whereas EC2 auto scaling only at the instance level only we are doing. Okay, but EC2 auto scaling also is part of AWS auto scaling. So now here if you go for AWS auto scaling means it's not only for EC2. Okay, it's not only for the EC2, but as of now, like in the next session, we are discussing about EC2 auto scaling. But a lot of people confusing auto scaling means at the EC2 level only we are assuming auto scaling, but AWS auto scaling can scale up lot of resources. That is the reason most of the resources they have E beside. E stands for, E is the prefix for most of the services, right? That is elastic kind of service. Whatever the service names like elastic container service, Kubernetes service, EC2, okay, say elastic cache. So most of those services are scalable kind of things. Most of the services are scalable. So now here if you go for the scaling, so now here we can scale up lot of resources. It's not only related to EC2 instance. Even we can use Aurora kind of RDS database. We can use DynamoDB kind of thing, Kubernetes level, Lambda level. All these also we can automatically scale up. But in this one part, as of now, we are discussing is EC2. In the EC2, we are going to create auto scaling groups. So now here we have auto scaling groups. This comes under EC2 auto scaling. Okay, so now here in the EC2 auto scaling, like we have launch template, launch configuration. This comes under horizontal auto scaling. So now here we need to specify minimum number, desired number, and maximum number of instances. Then depends upon the load, automatically it's going to scale up the resources. So automatically it's going to scale up the resources by specifying the minimum number, maximum number and the desired number we need to maintain. Okay. So these how to perform. We'll discuss in the next sessions. For that, some basic networking concepts also required. These all we'll discuss in the next sessions. Okay. So spend some time on the like instance types. I shared those purchase options also. Those also try to finish meanwhile. Okay.